educational material.
Online learning services would find solutions with a focus on understanding concepts and scientific reasoning. Some services help their students develop competence in deep understanding via scientific inquiry instead of memorization.
And Zenius Education provides free access to learning videos across all its platforms to make it easier for students to learn at home independently. And to know more on the future of online learning education, we are connected right now with the CEO of Zenius Education, Mr. Rohan Monga. Hello, Rohan. Good evening.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining us as well. So, our first question, what do you think about the current trend of online learning, particularly in Indonesia? Is it effective if it's done continuously?
Well, I think the trend, it's been great, and I think just to kind of put it into perspective, put it into context, it helps to first kind of talk about offline, so that we can understand the place of online. And I think in Indonesia, parents find a lot of value in offline, right? And so, they spend about $5 billion a year through formal schools, as well as with the bimbingan belajar, or the bimbles, right? For a majority of students and parents, offline learning is still quite expensive. It's not as accessible. And so the category that Xenius is in, which is to provide after-school learning in online, through an online application, a mobile app, as well as with our website, this provides a much more accessible and affordable way to learn with very high-quality learning methods. Mm-hmm. And so what we found is that over the last couple of years, online has really grown, and it's really kind of grown the market because of that accessibility. And I think it's very effective because, what we've been trying to do is to measure whether, there's good learning outcomes, right? Because it's all about the results. And the results are good. We've been able to run some surveys, and some of the students on our platform that prepare for the college entrance exam, they've been able to, we've been able to have a 70% pass rate in terms of getting into the campus of choice for them. So we do think that the trend is good, and online learning is really effective.
All right, so I really wish that this kind of service was actually provided back in my time when I was about to enter college, because I needed to
Bimbo.
Yeah, I needed to go to Bimbo. I needed to commute and stuff like that. But also, Rohan, the thing that I want to ask you, there are endless options for online learning, let alone in the country and also elsewhere. How does Xenius differ from other online services?
Well, I think we differ in terms of our focus and skills, right? So we like to call ourselves a skills-based platform. And what that means is that, our understanding of the market in Indonesia is that a lot of students, approximately 75% of students in Indonesia, they have issues with their fundamental skills. So these are skills numeracy, around literacy. And so the way we serve the market is we use AI technology, which we can call adaptive learning, right? And the reason it's called adaptive learning is because it's able to adapt to the skill level of students. And so we've created this new game called Zencore for numeracy, literacy, English, which adapts to the skill levels of these students and improves their fundamentals, so that then they can learn the harder concepts of the Indonesian national curriculum, like chemistry or physics or economics or what have you. So, we think that we're very strong with skills, and that's our approach to the market.
Okay, Rohan, if we're thinking about school, right? Student would still be taught memorization. I remember even back in the days, that's all I have to do in school. What method do you use to change that?
Right. So, you're right. In the past, if you look at Indonesia, it was very much a knowledge-based education system. And the reason for this was because of the Ujian Nasional, which I think a lot of students like, right?
Yeah.
And those exams were actually exams that tested knowledge, right? Like, oh, let's just memorize all of this stuff in biology or in whatever subject and pass the exam, and then you just forget about it right after.
That is right.
The way we try to get away from that is by skills-based pedagogy, by skills-based teaching. And so what we do is we try to teach concepts very deeply, and then we have practice problems which help you to kind of build your skill around that concept, so that concept can then be applied to many different disciplines, to many different other concepts. And that helps the memory retention, and you keep it for your lifetime. So, we do have a very different approach, which we think is very different from memorization-based learning, and we think it's quite powerful.
Right. So, Yani, we as parents, I think we're thinking to start to use Xenius. Okay. Rohan, I love the way you described to us about after-school learning with the high quality of learning method. And talking about this, I think, I believe there are many users right now who are using Zenius platform education. So talking about this, actually, how many active users do you have so far? And do you see an uptrend due to the pandemic? And maybe you can also elaborate. Actually, it's not just in Indonesia, maybe in other countries, and the Zenius.
Sure. Well, I think in terms of active users, without sharing exactly how many we have, what I can say is that our dream is to get to 10 million active users in the next 4 years.
Wow.
And we're somewhere around maybe 10% from that number, and that helps to kind of quantify the kind of impact that we've been able to achieve. I think that right now, we don't have any focus on going into other countries. Our focus is really on Indonesia, and we're trying to drive impact.
So, Rohan, now with the schools starting to open their doors for in-person classes, how do you think can Xenius help with their education at the moment?
Well, we actually have products that are focused on helping schools, actually helping teachers, right? Because teachers, as they've gone through this entire pandemic, they've had to serve students very differently. They've had to kind of use online-based teaching, online-based sort of assignments and homeworks. And so we actually have this product called Zenius untuk Guru, which we call Zenru, right? And this is an app-based experience as well as a web-based experience where the content of Xenius, the videos, the questions, these could actually then be shared with the students via the app. And so then the teacher is able to get instant analytics, is able to get instantaneous grading, and really make their teaching much more efficient using the online medium, which can then help unlock time for them, which they can spend on mentoring the students that need it most, and to do other activities that are not very administrative. So we certainly do want to help schools and teachers as they come out of the pandemic with offline learning.
Nice.
All right. Rohan, we're actually checking out your website right now, Zenius website.
We are.
So many features.
Mom Yani is taking everything right now.
So many features, so many packages. One of them is ZenBot, your 24-hour solution of your math problems. Where were you when I was young? Seriously. But on a serious note, as a parent, I never realized how much I want my kid to attend schools in person. What is your wish about the future of technology and education in Indonesia?
Well, I think that offline is it's irreplaceable, right? Because when it comes to especially the soft skills, cooperating with others, collaborating with others, problem solving with others. A lot of that really happens in an offline setting, and you just can't make it happen online. What I think, or at least my wish for, how technology and how online learning can actually really shape and drive the industry for education is really around making learning and teaching more efficient, right? And how does it make it more efficient? It's that, you're able to get a much faster response time about the gap that a student has, right? Whether you're a teacher or whether you're self-learning, you're able to understand like, oh, what is it that the student has an issue in much faster? And then you're able to respond to that and fill that gap or plug that gap and make their skills improve quicker. So I think that technology can really play a really solid role with teachers and with students to really help them learn more efficiently and build up their skills faster.
Well, Rohan, thank you so much to help us even understood more about the fact of online learning and also the virtual thing imaging, because we're from the ancient age. Even we were wondering, where were you when I was learning math and when we were like struggling with math? But
we needed you. We needed you at that time.
It is true. That was an issue at that time. So, ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Zenius Education, Rohan Monga, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, as well, we are scheduled for a break, but when we return, we have more information for you here on the Seed of Stories. Don't go any